Welcome back to the preview here on AFTV. Everyone's Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Now, Palace wear red and they wear blue. No, I'm not Cecil. I'm not doing one of those. I know, it freaked you out. Look at Turkish.
I was about to go mad.
He's about to lose it.
Here, I was about to enjoy this preview, thinking, yeah, last one without Cecil before he comes back with his nonsense, and then
I know, I'm sorry.
But yeah, good job.
You looked over thinking.
That was it was better than all of Cecil's intros, to be honest. It made me laugh rather than.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad. I had no intention of replicating the Cecil.
You can't, man. It's special.
Yeah. Sure. It is what it is.
I would say unique, maybe not special, but unique.
Yeah, they're they kill a couple.
They're something.
Minutes,
They're sure something.
Yeah. Well, they get people talking. But we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about Palace versus Arsenal. And actually, very rare, but it does happen every now and again that you have the flip of a fixture. You play a team twice in a week. I remember, this is so random. I remember years back, I think we played Bolton back to back in the Premier League. Do you remember that? We played them away from home. And we played them at the Emirates in a 4-2 win. We were 2-0 behind. And sometimes it'd be like fixture congestion or a cup game gets in there or something's delayed, whatever. You might have these back-to-backs, and we got one of those, Laurie. Do we benefit from that, having had a little bit of a... Palace went full strength against us the other night. We got the win turned around with a much better second half than first half. But we have to go out and do it all again. Sometimes Arteta alludes to, the amount of preparation that goes into every opponent and the amount of football that's being played. Well, no excuses when it comes to that this week.
Yeah, I agree. No reason to overthink. I think we not just won the game, but I think we scored a big psychological blow on them at the game. I was at the game, actually. I enjoyed it. Despite the first half, which is a bit turgid, and obviously went a goal down. The second half was completely different, and it was a good atmosphere in the ground, helped by the Palace fans. There's a lot of Palace fans in there, so it was good.
It was a needed injection of however excited people want to get about a Carabao Cup semi-final. It was we've reached a somewhat interesting stage when it comes to that competition, and so there was something to be almost. I don't want to say whatever happens in the league, obviously not, but we know that semi-final date's coming, and that's quite exciting for the club. Again, forgetting the kind of importance of these competitions, it's back to Premier League action. Is that an injection of energy enough to turn around what's been, 2-3 Premier League games in a row without an open goal? That needs to be addressed. It's not an open goal, open play goal is what I'm trying to say.
It feels like fool me once, because last week against Monaco was kind of the same circumstances. Not that we're guaranteed now, but that win against Monaco, 3-0, hella chances missed as well. We created a lot and it put us third.
Yeah.
So, unless we have a disaster in the last two games, which we're comfortable favourites in, the last 16 date was pretty much booked last Wednesday as well. Listen, I'm all for trophies, and as much as I put Carabao bottom of that list, I think people just don't like the way I speak about it. It's still a trophy, and it's still something I want to win if you're in it. And I like that we've managed to rotate and still make it this far, because now this is when that rotation needs to become a bit smarter. Because it's Newcastle, Liverpool with Tottenham or United. So the difficulty now levels have gone up a little bit. But like I said, after that Monaco performance, to see what we saw against Everton, it just reminded me that things are not just a corner away from looking bright again. And I don't mean, no pun intended, no Jova corners. I'm talking about literally around the brick wall. It just doesn't feel like that. But this is a big game. We must win now. In the position we're in now, we must win every game in the Premier League and see where we're at come February, 2nd, when we play Man City. We must win every game. And if we now drop any further points, it literally is curtains for the Premier League season. And you whilst you're still going for cups and whilst we'd still be in cups, the league is what determines your morale and your confidence and your form, and you need to be fighting. And I ain't talking a top 4 fight. We need to remain in this fight. And I honestly, listen, silly me, but Tottenham might get something off Liverpool. So I don't want another weekend where we go 1-1 against Palace, and then Tottenham go beat Liverpool 2-1 or it's 2-2 or another one of those weeks is as damning as a loss.
It's one of those things where it's like we took the kind of the blow and the disappointment after Newcastle, and then the disappointment after Fulham and Everton. But you can't stop fighting for it. Do you know what I mean? It's like we recognise how difficult it is. With every passing week, I feel less and less and less confident of winning the title. Obviously, but I just can't go into a weekend not still wanting the results to go our way. I can't go into it still not wanting Tottenham to do us a favour against Liverpool, us to do our jobs like we didn't do last week when Fulham did do us a favour, and just see and then go, okay, all right, on to the next. That was a favour, and then maybe another week, and then you never really know where things are. We'll go back to the importance of the game in a sec, because I think that'll tie into the starting 11 and who we expect to play and all that as well. But I'm going to ask what might sound a really stupid question, but again, back on this whole, we've just had Palace at the Emirates, who went full strength. They did well, apart from I think the 18-year-old debutant at right wing back. We now go to Selhurst Park. Why does a home and away tie feel so different? I know it's that, we've always known, okay, the home crowd or whatever, I get it. But Selhurst just feels like such a different, proposition to inviting Palace at the Emirates. Why is that? What is it? Is it all psychological? Is there something actually physical or tactical about it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think primarily it's because of the fans. I mean, it's a London derby. Palace fans at home
don't make noise.
Yeah, they'll make a lot of noise. That will inspire their players, you would have thought. And like I said, it's a London derby. North versus South London. It does have that special type of cachet about it. And let's be honest, Palace on their day are a decent side.
Very.
You know what I mean? So you cannot overlook them or underrate them in any way. They will be a test. They will be up for it.
They've had big results this season too.
Yeah.
And at Selhurst, I think Liverpool had to work hard for a win there. City dropped points there. Tottenham lost.
And they are on a little run, aren't they? Because the first part of the season they were really poor. But in recent weeks they've picked up. I think they're unbeaten in their last 5 games now.
Yeah. Well,
apart from the defeat we inflicted on the Carabao Cup. So, there's grounds for optimism.
Absolutely.
If you're a Palace fan. So I think it will be a difficult game. Certainly we cannot, like I said, overlook or underrate them because
and it was a 3-1 win for them at Brighton, which is obviously a big game for them. They got that win, having been 3-0 up. I think the reason also I asked about the home and away thing, Turkish, is like the Emirates, you go there, it just feels like a big pitch. Now, Premier League pitches can be within a certain length and width, so they do vary in size. I don't know if Selhurst counts as a small pitch, but it always feels hostile, and it always feels like the fans are right on top of you. It feels like everything's a touch more condensed. I'm not sure, even when we've gone and won there in the last couple of years, that we've always been our most free-flowing best. And when we won there 2-0 in the opening day a couple of years ago, I remember for 30 minutes we were scintillating, but then it did become a little bit of a protect what you got, defend well. So you're always in for a battle when you go to Selhurst, and I was just kind of wondering what the reasons are for that, why it will feel like such a flip to the game at the Emirates, or certainly in the second half at the Emirates.
I don't know, I think especially for the bigger clubs now, or the more successful clubs that have at some point moved into these bowl stadiums that are built not just for football but for other, entertainment. It's a very different feeling playing in these stadiums to the ones like Palace or Fulham or the old school grounds. Yeah, the fans are a lot closer, and that just makes it more intimidating, I guess, from the get go. And yeah, it's still one of the untarnished parts of football. Yeah, that outside looking in, I envy the lesser clubs for. No disrespect by saying lesser clubs, but that the bigger clubs have all moved into stadiums that don't have that feel no more. The soul, character. Selhurst Park has that. Yeah, and you can't put your finger on exactly what it is. Whether it's the fans that make it 12th man, obviously that's an easy answer. Whether it's the heritage, the history, and of the stadium, and the love between the fans and the players. There's a lot of different reasons for it, but you're right. It's always tends to be a tough game when you go 9 times out of 10 when you go to these.
I was
away
there
ground. It's not easy.
when we played them last year, August. And we beat them 1-0, and I remember a game. The atmosphere, it was a night game.
Monday night, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the crowd, as we said, they were up for it. It was loud, the Holmesdale end. And it's a small, compact stadium. And like I said, it's a London derby. It's North versus South. And yeah, it was a good night. I mean, the first half, they made it challenging for us. I think we got a penalty in the second half. Mm-hmm. I think Tomiyasu got sent off in that game.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm expecting a similar type of experience this week. It's Saturday, but it's kind of night game, isn't it? So
it will
under the lights, 5:30 kickoff.
Well, we've turned our form around against Palace because that win, if I'm not wrong, makes it 5 wins in a row against them, unless I'm missing any. Of course, we've beaten them the last, twice in the Premier League last season, a 1-0 and a 4-1. Season before that, I think, last season was a 1-0 and a 5-0. Season before that was a 4-1 and a 2-0. But you look before that, man. I mean, Patrick Vieira came to the Emirates and got a 2-2, then slapped us 3-0 when we were going for Champions League football. Go to the season before that, they drew 0-0 at the Emirates, but I think we won 3-1 at Selhurst Park. Remember when Pepe had sort of rediscovered great form. But we've been a bit hit and miss at Selhurst Park. We've picked up some sort of good wins every now and again, but at times as well, we can be a bit... Yeah, we've definitely dropped points there and sort of maybe let the occasion and the atmosphere get on top of us a little bit. We go there needing to rediscover some of the football that we had in that second half on Wednesday night, because they would play a back three, well, a back five, but a back three. They got physical players, they got very talented players who can hurt you if you're not clever too. But more importantly, Arsenal in the Premier League in the last 3 games, and yes, we beat Man United, and cool, set pieces count, obviously. But we haven't had that kind of open play, fluidity and fun that we've kind of actually associated with Arsenal the last few years mainly. Yeah. But, you know, this season in the Premier League, apart from Wednesday night and the second half, we've lacked it a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm thankful the defence is doing what they need to be doing, albeit with the injuries. Because I think when you look at Fulham, Everton, in particular, those 2 disappointing results, and then the Palace one, which is a great result in the end. The defence has done its job. Everton, you know, Calvert-Lewin and Brozier had nothing anytime they got the ball up top. Fulham, you know, a lot was said about their attack. Iwobi going in on fine form, Emile Smith-Rowe returning. They get a chance, they score that chance, but aside, you know, from that, very little. And Crystal Palace, I mean, you know, exposed Kivior a little bit for the first goal, and the second goal was a beautiful header, you know, perfect. Yeah. So that's what that's what gives me the confidence on Saturday, that we've got that to build off at the very least, and they've just handled a strong Crystal Palace side. Yeah. They've just went toe-to-toe with Eze and Mateta, and you know, Mateta found some success. Eze really did nothing. Yeah, I agree. So these players that have played a part in that game are going to be important for this game. Saliba came on at half-time. Kivior, he probably starts again, unless Calafiori makes a miraculous return ready for the first team.
Do you think Kivior will start a left-back?
Yeah. Actually, no, Lewis Skelly probably comes back in.
So, I mean, should we build the 11 now? Should
Lewis
we go
Skelly,
through?
I forgot about him. He comes back in. Yeah, let's build it.
This gets interesting because we don't really know too much. I mean, I said on for Arsenal, where is Zinchenko? Where is Tomiyasu? Where is Calafiori? Like, we sort of just... I feel like we've kind of been like... It's not a great analogy, and I haven't had very good analogies for a while. But... You know when like someone just comes in and just says something and then walks off and you're like, okay, and they go, wait, what? That's actually quite bad news. I feel like that's been the way Arsenal have delivered a lot of this injury news. Like, yeah, he's got a muscle problem in a couple of weeks. And so it's been 2 months, by the way, Mikel. Yeah. Like, do we know where these players are? And I feel like that's how a lot of the, like with Tomiyasu, yeah, he's going to miss pre-season. No, he's missing the whole season at the moment. Like, not pre-season, we're in the thick of it and he's played 20 minutes. So I really wonder where all these players are, how serious is whatever. Look, Raya will start in goal. Yeah. And I really want Timber right back, Laurie. Like, I really want Timber with Saliba and Gabriel as 3 of the back 4. Would you be tempted to put Timber left back and move Partey right back? Or...
You know what, I think the Thomas Partey right-back experiment is starting to wear thin on a lot of people now. Even people like Belgium, who is Thomas Partey's biggest fan, was saying to me yesterday after the game, and I think he said it on the fan cam as well, it's time to stop that now. Thomas Partey is not utilised at his best at right-back. So yeah, I mean, I know the manager sees him in that role as someone dependable, but we're not getting the best out of him in that role. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. I think
Timber right back.
Yeah.
And then left back. I know Tesh wants Lewis Skelly.
Yeah, I've seen enough of Miles Lewis Skelly now to make me think that he can do a job there.
Did Tierney show you enough?
He did, but unfortunately with Tierney's we've seen over the years, he looked like he's copped another injury. If not, it could be muscle cramps, people say.
Yeah,
but I was at the game and I saw when he sat down and I thought, he looks like he's injured. People then said it could be cramps. I don't know, because normally when players are cramped up, they show a little bit of pain.
Didn't the TV zoomed in on him and it looked like he was saying, "I'm fine, I'm fine." Like I think he was trying to say.
Or was he tired?
Yeah, tired, cramp. I mean, hasn't played since the Euros. I mean, it could easily be. I think Lewis Skelly. So that's all three of us voting for Lewis Skelly at left back.
Yeah.
I do think that a big reason for me actually not saying Tierney is because of David Ornstein's report that he's leaving basically. Like he's gone. He won't be here beyond this season. You wonder whether, I think Sky Sports have just said that Celtic are looking at bringing Kieran Tierney back. I would love for him to get that move back. I think it'd be great.
But is that a surprise though? I mean, it's funny because when that news went around yesterday, some people were acting surprised. For me, listen, it's
a bit random for it to drop 20 minutes after his first game for Arsenal this season.
That was a surprise, the timing of it. But in terms of, do we expect to see him next season or whatever?
No.
We know that it's going to happen.
I know I'm bypassing the midfield conversation for a second here, and we touched on this forever Arsenal, but I think Trossard's a better player when he's given a little bit of freedom to float around. He can be on the touchline, taking on a fullback, but he can also drift inside of the pockets. He can combine. You get him in central areas. You get him in areas where he's got an eye for goal. And to do that, you need someone going the other way then, and that's Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney...
He's the only left-back we have that does that.
The only one we have that. It's not even like Arteta's been able to coach others. So, you know, like Timber and White were centre-backs, but he's kind of coached them to overlap and underlap. He's, for whatever reason, never asked Zinchenko, Lewis Skelly, we've only seen it in one game, Kivior, no, barely, Calafiori. We haven't really seen that from the other profiles of left-backs. And I so wish it ended in a goal because I loved that moment that Trossard picked the ball central and their wing-back and their centre-back don't know whether to follow him central. So they don't really go with him. He picks it up, he plays the ball through to Tierney and you're just thinking, we've carved them open here. If Sterling had scored that, I mean, I think that would have been a beautiful goal, man.
Would have been Tierney in space, low cross, beautiful. Tapping, really. You know.
So that's it, the second go.
But the second goal would take away the assist.
That's true.
We needed to bag that in the first.
No, you're right.
But overall, I was impressed by Tierney considering he's been out for however long he's been out for.
Yeah, I thought he had a good game.
So
it's just a dynamic I like. Trossard, I thought was quite good against Palace.
He was quite bright actually. I don't think he was getting enough credit because I think what it is, he got kind of swept up in that lethargy of the first half of a lot of the players. But I actually thought he looked quite bright. He was always calling for the ball. I noticed that yesterday. Demanding the ball, you know what I mean? He had his hand up, he's making runs. So I thought he was decent.
I thought he looked really bright, Trossard, and because of that I'd want him to start this game, but what I don't want him is tucked out on the touchline, just like...
Where would you start him?
I'd start him left wing over Martinelli, but...
It's interesting because Martinelli has a very good record against Palace.
Does he?
Yeah, he does, I was checking.
2 goals off the bench against them in January in the league.
Yeah. It's one of the teams that he fares best against.
Did score at Selhurst in the 2-0 win. Okay, yeah.
I think it's also fair to say that with Sterling, I mean, he did have what I would say a decent first half. I know you disagree with that. But he definitely didn't do enough to force his way in the team, I don't think. Well, starting 11 anyway. I
think I'd go Lewis Skelly. And I said on Forever Arsenal Martinelli, but I'm changing my mind thinking Trossard. But the point is, Lewis Skelly, just being left-footed is enough. Go and overlap at times too. Like you and Trossard alternate in the way you guys are positioning yourself, in the way we build up and are trying to break them down. They'll be harder to break down at Selhurst than they were at the Emirates, in my opinion.
It's interesting because I was having that conversation yesterday. Do you not think that Palace at their place might be tempted to be a bit more expansive?
I mean, this is a Glasner team, to be fair, and they have played with Eze and it used to be Elise, now Sarr in the pockets. Their wing backs get forward. Look, I don't think, I'm not claiming they're going to park the bus and nor not attempt to win the game. I think they will. I think Palace, since Glasner has arrived, have played, brave football and tried to take the game to teams more. But I think that because naturally they play a back three with wing backs, they will just collapse into that shape if we get hold of possession, and then that becomes a tough team to break down.
I don't see them being as nowhere near as negative as Everton was, for example. I think that once they've got the ball, they'll be looking at people like Eze to try and make things happen.
Yeah, they're home as well.
I don't. I mean, I know Robbie was very adamant that they're going to park the bus. I don't think they will. Okay. And that might suit us.
No, I think you might be right. You know what? You're convincing me. So yeah, we'll see. Interesting to see how it matches up.
Palace, yes. The start of the season was very poor from them, especially when you consider how they finished the last season.
Yeah.
So the start of this season, I think they went something like 8 games. They didn't get a win. But in recent weeks, their form was picked up, and I don't think they're going to be in the relegation.
No, I always knew, even when they went winless in their first, 7, 8, or whatever, I was like, they'll be fine. They're a good team.
And whilst I'm not framing it as a free hit for them on Saturday, I do think a little bit of pressure has been taken off in recent weeks by the fact that they're now in the Premier League anyway, unbeaten in 5 games. They had that good win against Brighton. I think they'll be encouraged once they get the ball to try and do some damage. Now, I still see us having the majority of the possession, but I don't see 2 banks of 4 and one man, Mateta on his own up front, just waiting for a ball over the top. I think they'll try and be more nuanced than that.
Okay, well, let's build the midfield that we expect to see. Odegaard, of course, is going to start. And then, it's Partey, Rice, Marino. Italian tax, I'll throw in Jorginho, but he's not going to start.
I thought he was good as well yesterday, by the way.
I thought he was good too.
Yeah, I thought he was good.
No one on Forever Arsenal agreed with me, but I thought he played really well.
I think sometimes, you know what it is, right? With certain players, when you're at the game and you see what they do, you know what I mean? You got that. Yeah. You appreciate more. And I'll tell you what else I liked about Jorginho yesterday. He was captain, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Until Odegaard come on. But anyway, he...
I can't remember.
Anyway, sure.
The leadership that he displayed on the pitch cannot be underestimated. He was constantly talking to the team, cajoling them, getting people to, take up positions on set pieces and stuff like that. I thought he had a good game.
So who would you start in midfield with Odegaard?
That being said, I might not start him.
No, I wouldn't start him.
But he's always a very capable guy. If you need, say we are a goal or so to the good, you need to bring someone to shore up, then he would be the obvious one to come on. Right, sorry, in answer to your question, sorry, who was that?
Yeah, so who would start with Odegaard for you? Partey, Rice?
Yeah, I would. I mean, we don't know about the status of Rice's toe injury.
We don't 100% know.
If he's fit, then I would play.
We don't even know if it's a toe injury. I think it was a muscle problem or something.
Oh, was it?
Something like that. For the fact that, Turkish, I'm taking the words out of your mouth, he said on Forever Arsenal. He had the toe problem that kept him out a little bit, didn't play on the last international duty, then had to, we found out shouldn't really maybe have started the Everton game, then came off in it. I'd go Partey Marino, and I think that's what you said on Forever Arsenal, which I've just repeated and stolen.
Yeah, you're making my job easier, man.
Perfect.
It's interesting we're having this conversation though, because Declan Rice last season, you wouldn't even dare say to drop him or rest him. Or
if he's not 100%, he's not 100%.
No, but that's my point. Even last season when he may not have been at his absolute, no one would even mention that. Is that a sign that his levels have dropped this season a little bit?
He's not got to the levels of last year, but I think he will. And I think there's been shades of it. I think the Liverpool performance at home, I thought he was great. I think second half against Man United, he was great. I think second half against Fulham, he was trying to drive us forward. I don't think he's a left 8, but I think that's how the club see him, which is annoying.
What do you think is his best position?
I think he's best as the 6 in front of the back.
That's what I said, 6. But some people are saying, I'm not sure if he executes the 6.
I've changed my mind. Last season I thought the 8, but having watched it more. And also, I know I'm in the minority, but I think there's a good to very good player in Mikel Merino, and no one else. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are giving up on Merino quite quickly.
I'm with you on that.
I want him to get more minutes and get into a rhythm, play more regularly. And I think when he's there, he's the most balanced option we've got. But I also think he can get to a really good level for this Arsenal team.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think Arteta's done the move justice so far.
I totally
in terms
agree.
of approach and how he's implemented them, and
Or is it just that the fans are just like a bit too impatient?
No, but
and I'm going to call you out on this. I
when
think
you
you've been guilty of that as well.
Yeah, well, you've been guilty of a lot of bullshit.
You have,
over the
though.
years, mate.
Like, come on, bro. I mean, like, the man's come
fans
from.
like you had Eddie at this club for 2 years, bro. Let's not get into this.
If you want to bring out Eddie, you can, but we're talking about Mourinho right now. But listen, no, with respect, Turkish, right? I've heard people like yourself criticise the man. And no one is above criticism. Yeah.
What, Arteta?
No, Mourinho.
I haven't criticised him that. No, I haven't criticised him that much.
That's it.
I'm sure I've heard. But anyway, okay.
Not that much.
You notwithstanding. I've heard quite a few people criticise. Even at the ground yesterday, I heard a few people, moans and groans. I'm like...
Yeah, but it's the club's fault. You give him to us as the star signing. Unfortunately for him, the expectation is you are the guy that comes in and gets this team over the line.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, right,
That's not
people
his
have
fault.
to be a
It's
little
not our
bit...
fault. It's the club's fault.
People have to be a little bit patient, and I'll tell you why. The man's come from another league.
21 years.
No, but hear me
I don't
out.
care where
the
he's
guys come from another league. Their football is
I don't care where
very
no
different.
one comes from anymore.
Okay, fine.
21
But
years
allow
in
me
and 5 years into this. It's 21 overall, and it's 5 years into the new one, or be excited era, right? Either way, enough is enough now. Don't tell me a man's coming in from Spain, now we got to be patient, or a man's coming from Italy, we got to be... Forget all that. Patience. We've shown the utmost patience over the years. Yes, we flipped out at times. People might think, oh, that's cheeky of him to say we have flipped out. But 21 years in total, 5 years under this be excited era, please. Patience. Marino...
So that means you're scapegoating him for...
I'm not scapegoating. Arteta is, like I said, he hasn't approached the move correctly, in my opinion. I like Marino, but... He hasn't shown what I thought
Not
he would
yet,
show
but
yet.
as I said, he's new to the country, new to the team, new to the pace and intensity of football. What I'm seeing from him is that incrementally he's getting better pretty much every time I see him.
Right.
Allow the man to flourish.
So you've gone for Odegaard, Partey, Rice, but obviously that's depending on Rice's availability.
Imagine I go for Partey, Marino, Odegaard. Look at that. See, I want him to start.
And that's actually my midfield 3-2 on the assumption that Rice is...
Rice needs to... he hasn't been the same level. Laurie's right, but he's had a broken toe. We're still playing him. Yeah. Then he's asking to come off. He just asked to come off 4 days ago. I wouldn't start him in this one. I'd try and keep him as fresh as possible for what is it after?
I haven't even bothered looking at it. It's Ipswich. Ipswich at home.
Ipswich. Is it?
That's a day after Boxing Day.
So we've got like... What's the date
5
today?
days off. Okay. Friday night, so we play Saturday.
So yeah, I think. Look, Laurie's right. Everyone said it. Rice ain't been the same player this season. On top of that, this is now your chance with a broken toe. You've played him through it. Marino, Partey, and Odegaard are all available. Leave him out of this one. That's 2 weeks rest all of a sudden. Maybe he comes back the player we saw last season, and we're much better placed. I don't want to see him starting. I don't even want to see him on the bench, if I'm honest.
Well,
Rice.
If he's injured, yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean, right.
But then again, this is a must-win game, so maybe benches, keep him on the bench just in case we need that off, 30 minutes with 1-0 down.
Sure.
But ideally, no.
Yeah, all right. Let's rattle through the front three really, really quickly. Just give me the 3 players that would be for you.
I'm going to start by saying that Jesus must play.
I totally agree.
You cannot have a guy that's, especially when he's not been on form, banged a really good hat-trick, look back to his best. I mean, I said on Fancam yesterday, towards the end of that game, Jesus was almost swaggering around, demanding the ball. His confidence levels, the way he took that 3rd goal. And it's not like Havertz has been really playing well in recent weeks. He's tried, but for whatever reason, he's not looked at his best. Jesus must play.
Okay.
Saka will play. We know that. The left-hand side is the one that we often find ourselves debating. I thought Trossard actually did okay yesterday.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But then I did also mention that Martinelli has a very good record against Crystal Palace. But I'd be leaning towards starting Trossard for this game and bring Martinelli on when the game is stretched, hopefully, when he can utilise his pace.
Right. I'd go for Martinelli, even though I was really just then thinking, I like what Trossard did in midweek, but ultimately, if I'd rather, if I had to persist with one player, it'd be Martinelli. If I had to persist with one of them to get into form.
Why?
I think he's got more about him overall. I think Martinelli's peak at Arsenal is better than Trossard's peak at Arsenal. I think he works a bit harder, though that's not me taking away from Trossard, because actually I think he does put it about and get stuck in, but
my reasons are different. My reasons are because Trossard, I'm comfy with him as 12th man.
Yeah,
13th, whereas with Martinelli, I want to find Well, I feel like I found out, but he's still here
What have you found
for
out?
the rest of the season, so it's time to find out.
Do you think he deserves a spot?
Are we
tomorrow?
replacing you on
Saturday, sorry.
That's how I see it.
I can't.
Do you think he
I
deserves a
can't
spot?
quite let go of the fact that he did get 15 non-penalty goals in the Premier League just two seasons ago. Has that player gone? Surely not. Like,
you know, football is one of those sports, man. What have you done for me lately? Not 2 years.
Absolutely, but when the other person isn't really doing much for you lately, then I'd rather go for the guy who... See, with Jesus and Havertz, at least we just saw Jesus score a hat-trick. So it's like, you've got to be in the 11 for me. Trossard Marte is different.
Yeah, I'll start Martinelli because going back to 2 seasons ago as well, Jesus, his best form came with Jesus there.
Yeah.
Yes, with Xhaka too, but I'd start Marino, who's meant to be that. And let's see. Like, we have to find out with Martinelli. This, improve, sink or swim.
Yep. There we go. Everyone, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. What would your starting 11 be? What score predictions? Should we do this? Yeah, because you're both the sellers, so go on. Quick score prediction.
I'm confident in Arsenal getting a victory. I do think that Palace will put up resistance, but I'm going for us by the odd goal. So I'll go 2-1, Arsenal.
I said 2-0, didn't I? Yeah, I'll stick with that.
I said 3-1. Stick
Cool.
with that.
There we go. We'll stick with those. Go check out Forever Arsenal as well. If you did miss it, we had a good old laugh as well as we celebrated the Arsenal win. And of course, Arsenal will find out. I mean, at the time this is out, we'll know who is in the Carabao Cup semi-final, who we'll be facing as well. Or maybe we'll be out before, I don't know. Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below around this game as Arsenal face Palace for a second time in a week. This time at Selhurst Park. Laurie and Turkish will be there for all the reaction after the game. And we will be having a watch party here on AFTV for the game as well. So we'll see you then.